Hi everybody, welcome to 5 Minute Ministries. Now I'm going to tell a story and make some applications to the story. I heard the story years ago and I don't remember the actual name of it. But it was a good story and has some good lessons that can be learned from it. So there was once a king who decided he was going to marry off his daughter to one of his knights. Now he had chosen 3 of them to compete for her hand. He chose the strongest knight, the fastest knight, and the wisest knight. And he got them together and said, "Gentlemen, I have chosen you to compete for the hand of my daughter. All you have to do is go through the hemlock forest and come out successfully." Now the hemlock forest was very dark. It was hardly any light ever got through. And there were creatures in it called the hope knots. And the hope knots were very dangerous. Anybody who went in to the hemlock forest was confronted or even killed by these hope knot creatures. So anybody who went in hardly ever came out. And the strongest knight says, "Do we have to go alone?" And the king says, "You may choose one companion to go with you." And the fastest knight asks, "Well, it's so dark in there, how will we know where the end is?" And the king says, "I will be playing a tune at the edge of the forest. When you hear the tune, just follow it and you will get to me." And the king took out a flute and he played a song. And the king says, "This is the song you are to listen for. You follow my flute, you follow my song, and you will get to me." And the wise knight said, "All right, does anyone else know this tune?" And the king says, "Only my son knows the tune. Only me and my son know this tune. Just listen for it, and you will be able to find me." And the wise knight asks, "This companion, can it be anybody in the kingdom?" The king says, "Anyone who is willing to go with you, and anyone you choose will go with you." So the day comes, the knights go into the forest. And every day when the sun was highest in the sky, the king would go to the edge of the forest and play the tune. And after about a week, 2 men come out of the forest, one of the knights and his companions. And they brought the knight into the king's courtroom. And, and it was the wisest knight. And the king says, "Before we continue, please tell me your story." And the wise knight said, "Well, the first day we lost the horses. The second day we lost our armor. And on the third day we lost most of our weapons. And it took a lot of effort to get to you, O king. But that wasn't the worst part." The king says, "How could that not be the worst part?" And the knight said, "Every day when you would come out and play your tune, the hope knots would come out and also pick up a flute and play tunes, some of them very similar to yours. So it was very, very difficult to find you." So the king said, "Well, how then did you find me?" And the wise knight said, "I chose my companion wisely." And he points to his companion, and the companion was the son of the king, who also knew the tune. Now, just to make some applications through this, because it's a very simple story, but it's got some good messages in it. First of all, we live in a very dark world, and we are to always listen for the song of the king. We are to listen for God himself to speak to us, and we are to follow his voice to wherever he leads us. The next lesson we can learn is that it is a dark world, and there are others in this world who will go out of their way to mimic the king, or even play something completely different to get you to follow that instead of the king, to get you away from truth. Even if it sounds similar, it's still not the voice of the king, or the song of the king, so to speak. And as you travel through this dark world, make sure, if you have a companion, that you choose wisely. And if you're going to choose wisely, choose the son of the king to help you through this dark world, and you will be able to follow the voice of the king and get to him. This has been 5 Minute Ministries, and I'll see you next time.